Rather, Christ has been working in the church throughout the centuries to sanctify it, so that at the end he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 26 through 27. The history that this book traces is a history of the Christian church gradually growing in understanding, making progress toward the goal that we may no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, but by speaking the truth in love, we may grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 14 through 15. Gregg Allison is one of the wisest, most articulate, and most knowledgeable theologians in the church today, and this is evident throughout this book. He is also a humble, godly man whose life adorns, Titus chapter 2, verse 10, the doctrine he teaches, and it is my privilege to count him as a friend. I'm grateful that he wrote this book to be used alongside my Systematic Theology, as a supplement and sometimes a needed corrective to my brief historical summaries. And I am sure that his book will also find wide usefulness as a resource by itself. It is a privilege for me to commend this wonderful book for the strengthening of the church throughout the world. Wayne Grudem, Ph.D., Research Professor of Theology and Biblical Studies, Phoenix Seminary, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Preface. This book is intended to be a companion volume to Wayne Grudem's Systematic Theology, an introduction to biblical doctrine. Indeed, it was Wayne who called me one day with a proposal and a purpose: to write a book that would trace the development of the doctrines that his book covers, to help Christians understand how they have come to have the beliefs they have today. I did not realize at the time how daunting a task this project would be. At times, I have been overwhelmed by the sense that no one person should have undertaken to accomplish it. Now, over a dozen years later, I am thankful to God and Wayne that I can present this book to you. Although it is a companion volume, my historical theology can be read on its own. Still, to receive the maximum benefit, it should be read in tandem with his systematic theology. One helpful plan would be to read his chapter on, for example, the Trinity, and then read the corresponding chapter in my book to understand how that doctrine developed in the church over the course of time. Like Grudem's systematic theology, my historical theology was not written for teachers of historical theology and church history, but for students and for all Christians who desire to know how the church has come to believe what it believes today. As such, I've called it an introduction to the development of Christian doctrine. Entire books have been written about the progression of, for example, the inspiration of Scripture or justification. But this book is intended for Christians who have never studied such evolvement of doctrine. I've tried to recount this development in an understandable way, by avoiding the use of technical terms without first explaining them, and by providing helpful glossaries of the people, writings, and events frequently encountered in the book. My hope is that the church, and evangelicals in particular, will become as familiar with the giants of the past, Clement of Rome, Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Augustine, Thomas Aquinas, Martin Luther, Huldrych Zwingli, John Calvin, John Wesley, Karl Barth, as they are with Billy Graham, John Piper, J.I. Packer, Chuck Colson, Ravi Zacharias, Tim Keller, Al Mohler, and Mark Driscoll. Several distinctive features have guided me as I have written historical theology. 1. Present